Hey, D. Dykstra here with another great math video for you. This time we're talking about adding and subtracting polynomials. Got a couple examples for you, but let's look at some of the basics first. Understanding polynomials, we need to look at the degrees, how we determine the degrees. We went through some of that before. Check out another video on that. But also the number of terms it has, whether it's a monomial or one term, a binomial with two terms, or a trinomial with three terms. And then how do we get that in ascending order or descending order in order for us to add those together, or in essence subtract them, okay? So let's look at a couple of things we want to do first, and that is we want to identify the degree of each monomial, all right? So if we're looking at a polynomial, whether it's a trinomial or binomial or whatever, or quin or quadnomial, 4 and 5, then what we want to be able to do is identify each degree. So that's going to help us as we sort through them. We're going to rewrite the polynomial in descending order. So this will help us gather like terms and so forth. X to the fourth, x to the third, x squared, x, and 1. The final is the constant, right? And so that is in descending order. And then we want to try and combine like terms, okay? Like terms are such that if it's an x to the third and an x to the third, or an x squared and an x squared. So like terms are, an x squared and an x squared, right? So those are like terms. Now the constants can be different, but we want the powers and the exponential powers and the variable to be the same. Then we just basically add or subtract the constants, and we simplify the expression. Okay, so let's look at an example here. We've got one right on the board. 4x squared minus x cubed plus 2 plus 5x to the fourth plus all this, negative x plus 6x squared plus 3x to the fourth. All right, so what we want to do first, again, is identify the degree. So we have a degree 4, because here's 5x squared, 5x to the fourth, excuse me, and that is a degree 4. So what I want to try and do is rewrite this in ascending order, or descending order, excuse me. So we're going to go 5x to the fourth, okay? And then we want an x cubed, right? So we'll put that one over here in green, minus x cubed. And then we have another one that is x squared. So maybe I'll make that one a circle, plus 4x squared. And then the constant is plus 2. So plus 2. Okay, so I've got all those lined up, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these. Well, I'm going to look and I'm going to stack them, because I think it's easier when we stack in order to make those happen. So I'm going to look for another thing that is an x to the fourth. Well, I noticed that here is a plus 3x to the fourth. Okay, so I'm going to add that here, plus 3x to the fourth. So that one's good. And then I've got an x squared. An x squared. I don't have an x squared here. So I'll just place it over a bit. Okay, I'll just make that one a different color. Plus 6x squared. Plus, oh, there it is. 6x squared. Okay, so we do have a 6x squared. Excuse me. And then I have a minus x, okay, so minus x, and so I noticed that, okay, well, I'm missing an x cubed, and I'm missing a constant of 2. So if I add these together, I'm going to get 5 plus 3 is 8, 8x to the fourth, bring down my negative x cubed, and then I'm going to add 4 and 6, that is 10x squared. And now I've got an x and a constant remaining. So if I had done this earlier, I could have moved this over here, plus 2. And that way we know we don't have any x's, so we could call that a 0x term. And that way that's there. And then a 0x minus an x is just negative x. And then, of course, we can simply bring down our 2 and go plus 2. So our final simplified answer would be 8x to the 4th plus x cubed plus 10x squared minus x plus 2 as our constant. And that's how we add. So when we're adding polynomials, we combine like terms. We make sure that they are together. One easy way is to stack like I just did, where we're putting the pieces all together. We're stacking them on top of each other. We're making sure that each column has the same like term or exponential value and variable. Okay? And so let's look at a subtraction problem. So if we're subtracting now, we have 12x cubed plus 5x minus 8x squared plus 19. So we have an x squared here. So I'm going to underline an x squared and an x squared. And then I've got a 9x and an x. I have a constant here. So if I have a constant, put that constant with a constant. And then I have one final one, which is a 18x cubed and a 12x cubed. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite these in descending order. So I'll have the 12x cubed, and now I got to come over here and say minus. Well, a minus and an 18x cubed is a plus, right? A minus and a minus is a plus 18x cubed. Okay, so those are done. Check, check. And then I have an x squared. So my next term will be the x squared going in descending order. So I use that one for blue. So I've got minus 8x squared. And a minus, so minus and a positive, that's going to be negative. So negative 6x squared. Okay. So those are done. And then I've got a 5x, right? So we have a 5x, put that in red, plus 5x. That's that one. And now I've got over here, it's a minus times a minus, which is a plus. So plus 9x. Okay. And finally, we have our constants. Our constants were 19 and a minus, but when I take that minus over here to this plus, it changes that to a negative, right? So maybe we have to distribute that negative. So minus 3. Okay. And now that we've got them stacked in an order, we simply add them up. So 12 and 18 is 30x cubed. A negative 8 and a negative 6 is a negative 14x squared. 5 and 9 is plus 14 x. And then a positive 19 minus 3 is a positive 16. Okay? So we are left with 30x cubed minus 14x squared plus 14x plus 16 as our final result for subtraction. So subtraction is basically the same as a addition, combine like terms. We just have to remember that when we have that negative in the middle, we need to make sure that we distribute that all the way across, okay, all the way through the problem, so that we make sure that that negative is accounted for in each one of those terms. Okay, that is adding and subtracting polynomials. Hope you had a great time watching that, and you know what? We will see you later. Thanks again for joining me over another great math video. Peace out. Have a great night. See you.